Right, so now we will continue our next lecture in reservoir simulation. Today we will discuss about wettability and also capillary pressure. Ya, wettability or in Indonesian language kebasahan. Ya, kebasahan how the liquid, for example, oil or water will wet will make the rock wet. Ya, bagaimana fluida atau liquid oil or water membasahi batuan. Okay, this is very important for capillary pressure, for relative permeability, and also for saturation. Okay, I will start with video. So hopefully we can learn some important things from this video. Okay, so the video said that most reservoirs, yeah, the majority of the reservoirs worldwide in the world are water wet. Okay, so it means that the rock will be wetted by water, or water will will be there on the surface of the rock like this. So you can also say that the water will stick on the surface of the rock layer. Ya, karena air membasahi batuan, ya, istilahnya water akan menyelimuti permukaan batuan tersebut. Okay, so water will cover the surface of the rock, water, and the oil or hydrocarbon will be outside of this water layer. Okay, so this is the rock, and you can see the water layer, and then oil or hydrocarbon here. This is very important because it will determine the saturation, yeah, and also the relative permeability. Okay, so as you can see here, we have 4 tubes with different radius, jari-jari berbeda, or different diameter. This is the biggest one. The biggest one, and then medium, median, and this is the smallest one. And the video said that the capillary pressure is determined by interfacial tension, ya, tegangan permukaan, and also the radius of the tube. Okay, and as you can see, the height of the water, tinggi air, is at the highest if you have smaller radius. Yeah, this is the height of the water, the height of the column of water. And this is with bigger diameter, and the water is quite short. And imagine that rather than the tube, you have reservoir. So reservoir is like that also. Yeah, if you have tube here and we have reservoir, and you know that the reservoir is made of rocks or yeah, rocks. And you know that rocks have pores, and pores will made up the capillary. Yeah, something you know you learn about pipa capillary, yeah, capillary pipe. Pores, if you align all the pores together, it will be like a capillary pipe. Yeah. So it will be like, let's say this is the capillary pipe, which is actually an interconnected pores. Yeah. Interconnected pores. For example, this is the grain, rock, right? The grain of the rock. And then if you connect all the pores, jika kita menghubungkan semua pori-pori, it will make capillary pipe, something like capillary pipe or something like capillary tube. And within this reservoir, we have oil, we have water, and water will be at the bottom because of the weight. Yeah, because of the density, water will be at the bottom. And of course, the water column will have height. Ya, kolom air akan memiliki ketinggian. So if you have small radius, or if you have small pores, then the water layer will be high. Yeah, will be quite thick. For example, you have water here, so it will be the water oil contact. And above this water oil contact, you will have oil zone. So if you have small radius of pores, if you have small pore throat, or if you have tight reservoir, low permeability. Okay, if you have tight reservoir, low permeability reservoir, or small pores, then you will have thick water layer. And actually we don't like that, yeah, because we want to produce oil. So if this is an oil reservoir, I personally want that this should be 100% oil. Ya, saya inginnya seperti itu. I want this to be 100% oil, but cannot. If you have poor permeability, low permeability, tight reservoir, yeah, and if you have small pores, then you cannot have 100% oil here. Cannot actually. Ya, you cannot have thick oil column. Kita nggak bisa punya oil column yang tinggi. Ya, maybe water will be there. Water oil contact here. And oil will be at the top. Because if you have low permeability reservoir, small pore throats, yeah, poor permeability reservoir, the thickness of the water layer will be thick. Yeah, will be thick. This is the thickness of water layer, HW, we can call that. HW, yeah. And of course, there we cannot have pure oil here and pure water there. No, this will be transition zone, yeah, zona transisi. And for example, here we have 100% water, 100% water there. But here we have transition zone. But still in transition zone, you will have high water to be produced. Yeah, high water saturation in transition zone. Although you still have oil, but you will have also water, high saturation there. Okay, and we'll talk about it more along the way. Okay, so let's read the note here. Let's start with the definition. Wettability. When two immiscible fluids, immiscible itu artinya tidak mencampur ya, seperti oil dan water, tidak campur, tidak bisa mixing. When two immiscible fluids are in contact with a solid surface, so we must have solid surface. One will tend to spread over or adhere to the solid more than the other. Ya, jadi salah satu pasti lebih membasahi solid surface, ya. Dan tanda-tanda membasahi itu adalah ketika dia sprayed over. So if you have solid surface here, spread over means like this. Whereas the this I mean the negation of this spread over, it will be like a ball. So this is wetting, this is non-wetting. Sorry for the bad writing, yeah. This is the wetting and this is the non-wetting fluid. Okay. Again, when two fluids when two immiscible fluids are in contact, yeah, so they must be in contact with a solid surface. One will tend to spread over or adhere to the solid more than the other. This is the result of balance of intermolecular forces and surface energy. All right, so intermolecular forces play an important role there, and also surface energies between fluids and the solid. Wettability is defined as the tendency, okay, so that's the definition, yeah. Wettability is defined as the tendency of one fluid to spread on or adhere to a solid surface in the presence of other immiscible fluids. Okay, so there must be more than one fluid. Okay, either 2, 3, or more. Yeah, again, the tendency of one specific fluid to spread on or to adhere to a solid surface in the presence of other immiscible fluids. And the degree of the spread, the degree of the contact is defined by a contact angle. Okay. Next, wettability is a measure of the capacity. Okay, now it's quite different definition, but actually the same. Wettability is the measure of the capacity for a fluid to coat a solid surface. To coat or to adhere to or to spread over, to spread on, they are the same. Yeah. So it's the tendency or the capacity of a fluid to coat, to adhere on, to spread over a solid surface. Wettability affects relative permeability because it is a major factor in the control of location, flow, and spatial distribution of fluids within a rock. Okay, so wettability will affect the location, will affect the flow, and will affect the spatial distribution or will affect the saturation of any fluid within a rock. Okay, so you know saturation, yeah? Water saturation, SW, oil saturation, yeah, and gas saturation. They are all a function of wettability. Yeah, they are influenced, affected by the wettability of the rock. Okay, in general, wetting fluids preferentially occupy the small pore throats in rock, while non-wetting fluids occupy the large pore throats. This is very, very important. So the wetting fluid will go into the small pores, yeah, or the small pore throats in a rock, while non-wetting fluids will occupy the large pore throats. Okay, so we know we have pores, and there are big pores and small pores. Yeah, there are pores with big pore throat, and there are pores with small pore throat. Ya. Pori-pori batuan ada yang besar, ada yang kecil. And we know that the wetting fluid, for example, water, ya, let's say it's a water wet. So the water will go into the smallest of the pores. Okay. Oil cannot go there. Ya. Jadi kalau kita punya pori-pori, ada yang besar, ada yang kecil. Yang akan memasuki pori-pori yang kecil dan yang paling kecil itu adalah water. Karena dia water wet. Oil cannot go there. Ya. Nah, di sini punya implikasi. Kalau water masuk ke dalam pori-pori kecil, nantinya water dalam pori-pori kecil itu akan sulit untuk keluar kan? Untuk mengalir dia sulit karena dia berada dalam pori-pori yang kecil. Jadi bisa dibilang dia akan selalu ada di situ, si water. Nah, ini bagus karena oil justru akan lebih mudah mengalir karena oil akan occupy the large pore throat. Bayangkan kalau oil yang masuk ke dalam pori-pori yang kecil. Oke, pasti oil akan susah mengalir. Kenapa? Karena dia memasuki pori-pori yang kecil. Lama-kelamaan banyak oil yang tidak bisa diproduksi karena mereka terperangkap dalam pori-pori yang kecil. Itu terjadi kalau kita punya batuan oil wet, ya. So again, if we have water wet rock, water will go and will occupy the smallest of the pores. So water, we can say that it will be more difficult for water to move, to flow. And also it will be simpler, it will be better for the oil to flow because oil will occupy the large pore throat. That's the condition if we have water wet. But if we have oil wet, oil instead of water, yeah, oil will go to the pores with small pore throats and will be there. And it will be more difficult for oil to flow, okay? That's why if we have oil wet, yeah, there are oil will left behind. Yeah, big oil, okay, large portion of the reserve, large portion of the oil will be trapped inside the reservoir and cannot flow. Why? Because there are trapped in the small pores. So wettability is very important. As an engineer, you have to know the wettability of your rock. Yeah, this is the picture. If we have water wet, so water will occupy the smallest pores and the oil will occupy the larger pores. If we have oil, that will be the reverse. Yeah, oil will occupy the small pores and water will occupy the large pores and will be easier for the water to flow. Okay, but we can also have mixed wet. Okay, that's why when we do stimulation, for example, acidizing, and we do hydraulic fracturing, we usually inject surfactant, yeah, to maintain the original waterability. Yeah, if we have originally water wet rock, we don't want the rock to change to oil wet. Yeah, so we inject surfactant, we inject something to preserve the wettability. What we want is water wet. We don't want oil wet. And you know why. Yeah, the reason why we want water wet. This is another picture, yeah. Water wet and oil wet. And what about contact angle? So contact angle will will influence the wettability. Yeah, or wettability can influence the contact angle. They are very related. Okay. And we can know the wettability, the degree of the wettability by knowing the contact angle. Yeah. You see, this is the a fluid on solid surface. Surface tension. Now we have surface tension ya. Surface tension tegangan permukaan, tegangan antar permukaan fluid dan permukaan solid ya. Surface tension, tension between two surfaces is generated by equilibrium forces of liquid molecules at the solid surface. So there will be equilibrium forces. And you can see here, this is our fluid on the solid surface. You see this arrow, the direction there, and also there, and there. This is the surface tension. Yeah, this symbol is a surface tension. OW means this is the direction to oil water, and this is the solid and oil. For example, we have water wet, so this is the oil, non-wetting, and water, the wetting fluid will spread on like this. Yeah, so you know the direction. So we can say that the surface tension of solid and oil minus surface tension of solid and water. Okay, this is the vector calculation, yeah, vector calculation. So equals to surface tension between oil and water multiplied by cos theta. Yeah, the cosinus, the cosine of this degree. Okay, so surface tension of solid oil minus surface tension of solid water equals to surface tension of oil water multiplied by cos theta. Okay, this is for water wet, oil wet, and intermediate. If you have, for example, here, this is the water oil solid interfacial tension, yeah? So this one, oil water, it's the same picture with this picture, yeah? So oil water directed there, and then this is the oil solid, and then the water solid. You have the degree there, the angle, I mean, you have the angle, I mean. So you will get the angle, the theta is the contact angle, yeah? Theta is the contact angle. Okay, so if the contact angle is below 75 degrees, for example, like this, yeah, if you have water, for example, there, and the contact angle is below 90 or below 70, 75, for example, this one is 70 degrees, yeah, the angle, then we can call it water wet. But if it is higher than 105 or another version higher than 90, okay, if you have water, oil, and solid, yeah, the system like this, water, oil, and solid, and the contact angle is more than 90 or more than 105, okay, the contact angle, this one, yeah, between water solid and oil water, yeah, this will be oil wet. But if it is between 75 and below 105, we can call it intermediate. Okay, intermediate wettability, or maybe mixed wet. We can call it mixed wet. So water wet, oil wet, and mixed wet. Next, in general, at a given fluid saturation, the relative permeability of a fluid is higher when it is the non-wetting fluid. Okay, so you understand, if you have non-wetting fluid, then the relative permeability is higher. If you have non-wetting fluid, yeah, the non-wetting fluid will be easier to flow. Okay, that's the same with saying relative permeability is higher. It means that the non-wetting fluid will be easier to flow. This is because the wetting fluid, I said it before, yeah, this is because the wetting fluid will travel through the smaller, less permeable pores. Okay, so the wetting fluid, for example, for water wet, the wetting fluid or the water will travel through the smaller flow, through the smaller pores, less permeable pores. The non-wetting fluid will travel, will travel more easily through the larger pores. Yeah. So water will flow through the smaller, less permeable pores. The oil, the non-wetting fluid, will travel more easily through the larger pores. Okay. At a low, at a low non-wetting phase saturation, the non-wetting phase will become trapped as discontinuous globules in the larger pores. These globules block pore throat, lowering the wetting phase relative permeability. On the other hand, at low wetting phase saturation, the non-wetting phase relative permeability remains high because it flows through the center of the larger pores. Okay, so it is very, very important, yeah, ketika saturasi dari non-wetting phase rendah, non-wetting phase akan terperangkap sebagai gelembung-gelembung atau globul-globul yang tidak continue tapi di larger pores. Like this. Okay, so at low saturation, at low saturation of the non-wetting fluid, for example, for water wet, non-wetting fluid is oil. At low saturation, the oil will be distributed as discontinuous globules like this. But the oil will still occupy the larger pores. So it's good for the oil because they are in the larger pores. And it is still easier for the oil to flow, if there is oil flow or fluid flow. The oil can be easily be pushed to flow. The globules block pore throat, lowering the wettability or lowering the wetting phase relative permeability. So the globules will block the pores so that it will be more difficult for the wetting fluid to have higher relative permeability. Because the oil will occupy that space. The globules block pore throats, lowering the wetting phase relative permeability. On the other hand, at low wetting phase saturation, the non-wetting phase relative permeability remains high because it flows through the center of the pores. So if you have high oil saturation, the oil can easily flow. High oil saturation, the oil can flow continuously and the water will be trapped. The water will, the oil will be easier to flow. Okay, and relative permeability of the oil will still high. So that's the meaning of this page. Okay, let's continue. Wettability, impact on initial water saturation. For water wet rock, the interstitial water saturation fills the small pores and forms a thin film over the rock grain. So it's very important. Thin film. Ada lapisan tipis over the rock grains. Hence, the water saturation is fairly high. But for oil wet rock, the interstitial water is found at discrete droplets in the center of larger pores. Since the water has no affinity to cover the grain surface, the water saturation is usually much lower. This is for initial water saturation condition. For water wet, the water, or we can also call it interstitial. Interstitial water itu berarti water saturation, water yang berada di pori-pori terkecil. That's the interstitial water. Water yang cenderung lebih berada di pori-pori yang kecil. Okay, so that's the interstitial water. Water that is located in the interstitial space, or you can easily imagine water that occupy the small pores. Interstitial water. Okay, so at initial condition, at initial water saturation, the interstitial water saturation fills the small pores and forms a thin film over the rock grains. Hence, the water saturation is fairly high. The initial water saturation for the water wet. The water saturation is fairly high. But for initial condition, at the oil wet reservoir, the interstitial water saturation is found as discrete droplets in the center of the larger pores. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, the interstitial the interstitial water, or you can easily call it also just water. The water saturation is found at discrete droplets, discontinuous. in the center of the larger pores since the water has no affinity to cover the grain surfaces. Yeah. The water saturation is usually much lower. Okay. For the comparison, water wet. Interstitial water saturation in water wet can be 20 to 25% pore volume, but for the oil wet, generally lower than 15% pore volume and frequently even below 10% pore volume. For saturation at which oil and water relative permeability are equal, okay, for water wet, the saturation at which the relative permeability of oil and water are equal is greater than 50, and for the oil wet, it is lower than 50. Okay, you can understand this section if we already reach relative permeability chapter. Okay, relative permeability to water saturation. Okay, at flood out condition based on the effective oil permeability at reservoir interstitial water saturation, generally below 30%. For oil wet, the relative permeability to water saturation, it can be greater than 50 and approaching 100%. Yeah. So this is the relative permeability curve, but we will learn this chapter, or we will learn about this relative permeability in the next lecture. Yeah. So you have the relative permeability curve of the wetting phase. For example, wetting phase saturation, let's say it's oil, yeah, I mean water, yeah. So it's 0% saturation and 100% saturation of water. So this is the relative permeability curve of water. And this is the relative permeability curve of the oil. Okay. And this one, saturation at which oil and water relative permeability are equal, is this one, because the relative permeability is the same. Okay. And this one, this says that greater than 50% water saturation. So if this is 50% and we are at the left, so yeah, this is water wet. Yeah. So this rock is water wet. But if the cross section is below or at the left of the 50%, then we have oil wet. Okay. And you also know about drainage and imbibition during reservoir engineering lecture. Yeah. Drainage and imbibition are defined by the change in wetting phase saturation. Yeah. For drainage, yeah, the wetting phase saturation is decreasing. So if you have water wet, yeah, water wet, so for drainage, the water saturation will decrease. Yeah. So we move to the left. Okay, like this one, drainage. This happen when the oil first come from the kitchen from the source rock to the reservoir. Drainage is happening there. Yeah, because oil move to the reservoir and push the water. So the water saturation will decrease because oil comes and occupy the pores. And in imbibition, the wetting phase saturation is increasing. So we move to the right like this one. Okay, so water saturation for water wet, yeah, water saturation will increase in imbibition process. For example, the example of imbibition, for example, water injection or water flood. Yeah, for water wet rock. If we have water flood in water wet rock, so we do imbibition. The water saturation will increase. And this is the picture, the animation of the drainage imbibition cycle in a water wet rock. Okay, so we have grains, yeah, grains here. And the blue zone is the pores. We have 4 sand grains with rough walls. And you see this is the water, yeah, water wet. So water will occupy the pores and generate thin film, something like that. And then invading oil displaces water. So oil comes, for example, in the initial condition of the reservoir. Yeah, we have reservoir 100% saturated with water, and then oil come from the source rock. Oil come from the kitchen. Ya, oil masuk, oil datang dari source rock menuju reservoir. Reservoirnya terisi 100% saturation water, ya, saturation dari water. Sekarang oil masuk dan itulah terjadi proses drainage. Ya, because saturation of water is decreasing in drainage process. So primary drainage, oil comes, oil saturation increases if entry pressure is exceeded. So if we have quite high pressure, so oil will come and will occupy the pores. Oil will go into the pores. And then we continue the drainage process. At end of primary drainage, smallest pores, yeah, at the end of primary drainage, because this is water wet, smallest pores are still filled with water. So water will be there as a thin film, whereas the oil occupies larger pore spaces and has high relative permeability. Okay, so at this condition, relative permeability, Kr, of the oil is high. Continue. Increase capillary pressure, thins film. Okay, if we increase the capillary pressure, yeah, the film will be thinner, but water remains connected. Yeah, water remains there inside the smallest pores. Increase capillary pressure, water connected in smaller pores. Yeah, so the water will be connected one to another. This is the condition if we have higher capillary pressure. And we will talk about capillary pressure in the next section. Okay, now we have imbibition, for example, water injection or water influx from aquifer or water flood. Now we have imbibition. At start of the imbibition, in this case water influx, water imbibes along connected films. Yeah, so we have thin film over the surface of the rock. The water will imbibe. Water will imbibe. Water will be connected along this connected film. Wetting films increase in thickness as water imbibes, ya. So water akan masuk, ya, langsung terkoneksi dengan water thin film water yang ada di permukaan, dan lama-lama ketebalan dari thin film itu akan makin tinggi, makin tebal dia. So wetting films increase in thickness as water imbibes. Okay, if we continue the water flood, if we continue the water influx, at water saturation, yeah, as water saturation increases, water films at pore throat become unstable. Yeah, the water film becomes unstable and causing snap off the oil there. So the water here will be unstable because the water saturation increases and it snaps off the oil. It cuts off the oil, making the oil to be discontinuous, disconnected, because higher water saturation. Continue. Okay, continue. Now oil is disconnected. Now oil is disconnected. Okay, and we have residual oil saturation there, yeah. Residual oil saturation, sisa oil saturation. Okay, and this should be low KRO, yeah, low relative permeability of oil. Okay, not low KRW. Okay, at this condition, okay, at this condition, the relative permeability of water remains high, but actually not that high. Why? Because the oil hinder the water flow. Yeah, oil stuck there. So although the saturation of water high, and we can say that the relative permeability of water is quite high, but because there is oil block there, yeah, because there is oil residual there, yeah, residual oil there, it blocks the pore, menghalangi jalan. So at the end of the day, the relative permeability of water cannot be too high if there is disconnected oil globule there. Let's be careful here. Okay, water wet and oil wet is very important. Okay, continue for water flood, yeah. Water moves through the pores medium in a fairly uniform front for water flood in water wet system. Water moves through the pores in a fairly uniform front. The injected water will tend to imbibe, yeah. We learned about that previously when we start imbibition. The injected water will tend to imbibe into any small or medium-sized pores, moving oil into the larger pores where it is easily displaced. Oke, jadi water akan masuk gitu ya dan langsung menuju pori-pori yang kecil dan justru menendang oil untuk keluar sehingga oilnya akan masuk mencari pori-pori yang lebih besar dan jadinya lebih mudah untuk didorong. Jadi water flood in water wet system is quite good because the injected water will imbibe into any small or medium-sized pores and move oil into the larger pores so that the oil can flow better. An oil bank is formed and moves ahead of the flood front. So if we have water, yeah, and oil, let's say it's a piston-like, yeah, piston-like displacement. So this is the face of the water or water front, and this is the oil. So oil bank is formed and moves ahead of the flood front. Ya, jadi water mendorong oil. Ya. After the flood front passes, almost all the remaining oil is immobile. So at this front, I mean at this water zone, oil will be disconnected at residual oil saturation. Yeah. The remaining oil is immobile because oil is disconnected. Okay. Most of the oil recovery occurs prior to breakthrough of the waterfront. Continue. Water flood now in oil wet system. Okay. Previously in water wet system. This is very important. Most of the oil recovery occurs before breakthrough of the waterfront. Okay. So before the water breakthrough, yeah, water breakthrough, for example, if we have injector well, injection well, and this is the production well, and we inject water, yeah, this is the flow of water, and the water will push oil, and then we continue inject, this is still the water. The first time the water arrives at the producer, that condition is called water breakthrough. Ya, the condition, the first time, pertama kali water sampai ke producer, that's what we call water breakthrough. And most of the oil recovery occurs prior to breakthrough at water wet system. Now, for oil wet system, the injected water will form continuous channels or fingers through the centers of the larger pores, pushing oil ahead of it. Okay, this is very important. So we will have water channel, water fingering for oil wet system. Much oil is bypassed. This is not very good. Much oil will be bypassed, will be left behind in the smaller pores and smaller pore throats. As water injection continues, the water will gradually invade the small pores, displacing additional oil, but also forming additional continuous channels or waters, which increases the WOR, water oil ratio. Ya. Jadi ketika kita terus continue waternya, iya betul, water will gradually invade the smaller pores ya. Secara gradual dia akan masuk juga ke smaller pores dan dia akan mendorong sisa-sisa oil. Okay, but at the same time, we will still have continuous channels of water, so the water oil ratio is still high. When sufficient water-filled flow channels form to permit nearly unrestricted water flow, the flow of oil essentially ceases. Ya, ketika sudah terbentuk water channel itu, oke, untuk menjadi sebuah unrestricted water flow, bisa dibilang oil tidak akan bisa mengalir lagi. Oil will essentially ceases. Oil flow will essentially ceases. If the water flow or water channel is already 100% generated, formed to permit nearly unrestricted water flow, which is not good. This process is much less efficient than in a water wet system, with significant oil recovery coming at high water oil ratio after breakthrough. Okay, jadi if we have oil water system, this is actually not efficient process for water flood. Yeah, we can have significant oil recovery after breakthrough at high water oil ratio. Yeah, at high water cut. So that's quite problematic. If you have oil wet system, you have to produce for very long time, and you must be patient with water cut that is very high water cut, so that you can recover the oil. Okay, if you want to recover oil more, just continue production, but bear that you have water cut that is high water cut. Oke, jadi kalau kita mau mendapatkan oil recovery yang tinggi, terus saja produksi tapi bersabar karena mau nggak mau water cut-nya memang tinggi. Itulah situasi oil wet system, ya. You will need to continue production for very long time to get significant oil recovery, but the water cut is very high. Yeah, the water cut can be high for oil wet system if you perform water flood. Okay, so water wet versus oil wet. Okay, this is, yeah, for example, this is the flow of water, the waterfront, and then this is the oil. Okay, if you have water wet, it will be like this. The water will make thin film on the rock surfaces, and the oil will remain there as a globule, disconnected oil. Okay, but yeah, this is the symbol, yeah. The water colored white, and then oil, and then rock. But this is for water wet. This is for oil wet. So for oil wet, you inject water and you see the oil spread on the rock surfaces, right? Okay. And then water there, create a channel there. And if we have continuous water channel, the oil flow will stop. All right, so that's the condition, yeah. You will have continuous water channel in oil wet system, and if you have this one, water filled flow channel has been formed to permit nearly unrestricted water flow, then the oil flow will ceases. Okay, will cease. Flow of oil essentially ceases. Okay, so that's for wettability. And the next section is also very important. It's about capillary pressure. Okay, now we continue, yeah. Capillary pressure, you can check out this picture, yeah. So later, capillary pressure will influence, will govern, will determine the contact. Water oil contact or gas oil contact will be determined by the capillary pressure. And of course, capillary pressure is connected, is related to wettability as well. That's why we need to learn about wettability before learning about capillary pressure. Okay?